one of the things I've been thinking about is it seems like, as a thought experiment, I'm going to look at energy as the analogy would be slavery, right? Slavery and free energy, right? Now, this is something that comes to my imagination sometimes, or it's just the way it can appear, is that we can feel like, I'm trying to think of how to say this. So this is just a rough draft, and I may change what I say because I'm still trying to figure out what I mean. And there's a saying, how do I know what I mean until I hear what I say? Have you ever heard that? It's a philosophical idea. So I'm still experimenting with trying to understand this thought process. But what I'm thinking about is, and people have often said, and I don't know if they mean what I'm saying when I try to say what I'm saying, but people have said that we're kind of enslaved to high energy costs, right? And not being able to have low cost energy, right? Like even free energy, like solar panels and wind turbines, you have to buy the solar panels, and they're very expensive, right? Even though it still costs less. Everyone I know that has gone to solar, and you have to research it. Presently, right now, to make it simple, I would just go with Tesla because I trust Tesla. There's a lot of other companies out there, and the first company that comes to mind is, I can't even think of the name of them right now. Let me think. What's the name of the company? They make a lot of companies make monocrystalline cells. The monocrystalline cells are the ones I like. Multi-junction, if available, is great. I don't know if those cost a lot more though. But I would just go with Tesla, and just because Tesla, I'm going to call it my gut brain, right? The gut brain. We have two brains. We have the brain in our head, on our shoulders, right? And we have the brain in our gut. And my gut brain's telling me on everything I've researched and studied that Tesla is a company that it just makes it simple, right? Because there are companies that, and I don't know which ones they are, but I've just heard stories of like where people have had bad experiences with solar, right? And they're paying way too much for the solar, or they're not happy with the quality of the cells, right? Different things like that. And so with Tesla, I just feel that Tesla really knows how to make things happen. Like Elon Musk, I feel that he knows how to make things happen. He knows how to move forward. And a lot of people are upset, saying that he's not, providing, because Nikola Tesla, right? Because we have the Tesla company, right? And then we have Nikola Tesla, the brilliant, gentleman inventor, and he has many titles, right? But we can just say an inventor for the moment. Tesla was working with the infinite energy in space, right? Which is everywhere, the space within the palm of my hand, right? And what is important to realize is that we're already using that free energy. We use it, our bodies use it to sustain themselves, right? John Bedini talked about this. He said we're powered by free energy, and this can be calculated mathematically too. And the energy in space has been mathematically quantified, right? But how do you quantify infinity? Because really, when you really look at it, that's what there really is. It's not just infinite variables, and it's infinite capacity. That's a big distinction right there. Infinite capacity versus infinite variables. Is it just varying all the time? Is it moving so we can't catch it, What's the maximum and what's the minimum? That's what I would want to know. That's just the way my imagination works. So if someone wants to get into solar and you don't want to do any research, I would say just jump to go for Tesla, but research it. Definitely research. Do your research for sure. But compare Tesla. Compare it to Tesla, right? And I haven't researched Tesla a lot myself, but I have asked lots of questions, and I've followed them over the years. And I think Tesla's here to stay. I think every automaker and every company can learn from Tesla in terms of like how to get a product delivered, right? I really would love to see Tesla make their own version of an extremely aerodynamic vehicle that is their version of an Aptera Motors vehicle, right? And get it out here to customers, right? Because Aptera, we're all waiting for that car. Like, we all want that car so bad. And it's been 20 years. Now, I know the new company now is, it's been new for, I don't know how many years now, but has a lot more support and, I don't know if we say inertia and momentum than the first company. which is wonderful. And I do think that the Terra Motors vehicle will eventually come out. I just hope they can do what Tesla does in terms of like the concept vehicle versus the one that you actually get delivered. The one you get delivered looks even better, right? And this is different when we look at the auto industry. The auto industry, I'm used to seeing cars that look great in the concept, and then by the time it's delivered, the one that we can buy, it looks like a different car, and it's not one that I would necessarily like very much, right? It just, all the things I liked are not there. And then it makes me feel like I'm just paying for the metal and the plastics to be in a little bit of a different shape, but I'm not really getting much more efficiency, right? We're still only using less than 40%, right? Between 11% and 40% of the energy in fuel to move the automobile. And then we can get lost in all kinds of circular definitions, that's what it feels like, of why that is. But what I'm looking at is this: how much of the energy in the gasoline, in the fuel, goes to moving the vehicle? That's what I want to know. And when you compare that number to how much of the energy in the batteries of an electric vehicle goes to moving the vehicle, the percentage is much higher, right? It's like over 90%. And then that's significant. And I think that's probably why one of the significant reasons, including the poisonous pollution that we're pumping into the air all the time, right? From all gasoline cars, just the use of gasoline. In the processing of it, and the dangers of processing it, and just all the complicated parts that are unhealthy and unsafe in even having anything to do with petrol, gasoline, right? So it makes sense that California has outlawed the sale of new cars starting in 2025, and that was a date that was pushed back, but we can all embrace it now. We don't have to wait for automakers to not be allowed to sell cars, in 2000, whenever it is that they cannot no longer sell them in California. They can't sell the gasoline cars in California anymore. But we don't have to wait for that. Luckily, we're switching to micromobility. A lot of people that can't afford an electric car and don't want to have anything to do with gas because it just costs too much, and cars cost a lot too, right? They can get micromobility. This is a Roadrunner Pro. It's a scooter, and this scooter has the ability to go very slow. It has low gears in it, and you can literally just go like 2 or 3 miles an hour, or even 1 mile an hour if you can go that slow and stand up. But it also has the ability to go 50 miles an hour if you like going fast. And it's 2-wheel drive, and it can go 50 miles if you go on lower speeds. If you go fast, I think I've been in the mid-20s when I went like full speed or almost full speed. That's distance-wise. I like to study energy, and when I look, everything you see in front of you in this screen here, and just the phone itself is all, I see everything as pure energy. Okay, now people, if you read on the internet, and if you even get degrees, so a lot of people get degrees in different having learned about energy and getting to high level degrees in education, in learning about all the different kinds of energy, right? And we'll come out and say, there's no extra energy anywhere. There's just enough to power the material universe, and there's no extra available for us, right? And then you have people like Bill Nye the Science Guy that said, well, we're only using 1% of that energy. And the more I learn about it, it seems like 1% is actually a high number. It seems like we're using much less than that. But even at 1%, there's 99% available in space, right here, in space. And not just from the sun. Well, the sun, if we look at Don Smith said that the sun is actually making electrons, if I understood him correctly. And that also came from an MIT student that spoke at one of his conferences. And electron pairs being created by the sun, right? Our sun is a star, and there's more stars than we can count. And just in our galaxy, there's billions and billions and billions of stars, and these stars are all creating electrons, right? And that's why there's electrons all throughout space, not just in galaxies, but between galaxies and beyond universes, right? So if we want to travel the universe and travel the universes, and if that's a goal, it's very important to learn about energy. And if we wait for like NASA, JPL, they're not even using electrogravitics yet, that I know of, And I've stopped following what they're doing because I just see them. All I see is these rockets, and I'm like, why are we still using rockets? Like, how can I watch a rocket? I mean, it's fun. It's a show. It's a good show. Like, oh wow, look at all the smoke and all the vapors and the water vapors. That thing's powered by hydrogen. It's powered by water, right? I mean, that's exciting. It's interesting and exciting, but also it's, if the goal is to visit other solar systems and other planets, right? Visit other planets. We need something that can travel faster than the speed of light. John Searle discovered that like 50 years ago. In the military, if you watch the documentary here, the military communicated with John Searle, and also private industry and communicated with him. And I think he built 47 of these faster than light spaceships. So the technology is out there. And just like G batteries, if I understand correctly, G batteries is working with private industry. But the public, what about the public, right? We want to travel too, right? So I think it's something that everyone should have access to. I think that traveling and education is something that everyone needs access to. I feel that way. And so the least we can do is educate ourselves on the theories and principles, which is the laws of physics, right? The theories and principles, that's what they are. They're actually theories and principles. They're not laws. I mean, you can call them laws, that's fine, but just know that it's a theory and it's a principle, and it will be upgraded, it will be expanded, it'll be added to, it'll be modified, and it's going to change. That's the real essence of it, right? That's my understanding. So what we have to do for ourselves and for the planet equally, those are both equally important, right? Is meaning ourselves, meaning our education, and for the planet, meaning not harming the planet when we do things, right? So when we travel, it shouldn't be causing harm to the environment and to ourselves, and it's doing both of those, right? Because we're pumping the fuel right through our exhaust, and look at combustion byproducts, all kinds of terrible things in there. The processing of fuel is really bad, right? Everyone knows that. People say you can't run an engine on water. Well, if you put as much energy in processing as we do into oil, then we can make water suitable for burning too. It can be just like gasoline. In fact, gasoline, the only thing that burns in it is hydrogen, right? And what is hydrogen? Hydrogen and oxygen make up water, the perfect fuel, right? That's why people say that. So that's just how it looks to me, just based on reading. Research and study indicate what I'm saying. It indicate that. So I was starting to show the G-field generator and talking about anti-gravity, which is scientifically incorrect to call it anti-gravity. We just call it anti-gravity because it's familiar, right? It's familiar to us. Oh, anti-gravity, it makes us think that we're pushing away from the Earth, right? But actually, reading John Searle's book, here, let me see if he had, yeah, he has, let me sit down for a moment. One moment now. There's two books here. Okay, apologies for the interruption. I'm just trying to get this other book here. So these books are both significant. Well, all these books are significant. All books are significant, right? Because we have to learn all the different points of view. This is Anti-Gravity, The Dream Made Reality. And then if you look at this book, Anti-Gravity Handbook, Revised 3rd edition. These are all significant, right? This is all important. These are human-made, faster-than-light speed crafts. And John Searle never took it commercial, but it was allowed to be created privately. And I think he created 47 of these spaceships that can go faster than the speed of light. They can go warp speed. They create a field around them that protects them. So if you crashed it, it would just literally bounce off the mountain, and inside no one would be hurt, because there's I think it has like an inertial dampening in it, is what you know what I mean? So like you can literally go full speed and then turn, and we wouldn't go flying against the inside of the saucer, right, and get smashed. This technology was developed I think over 50 years ago. So and then if you look at Ralph Ring talks about there being these spaceships, not this exact one, but some kind of spaceship that we can all have access to. We can call it a gravity field generator spaceships that create their own gravity. When you create your own gravity, which is, if you want to see how to do that, look up the G-field generator. This is a spaceship generator. It's said to be one. If you study CJCA files, and you study John Bedini, and you study Energy from the Vacuum, which would be both the book, Energy from the Vacuum, and here's the book here. That's the book, Energy from the Vacuum. Thomas Bearden. And also the DVD science series, the collector series, which I hope is in the Library of Congress. I hope that every library can get a copy of that for educational purposes. And that's something to make a priority if people can work on that. I'm busy doing this research, but I think that these kind of, I think that research needs to be shared, and I think the internet's a great place to share and to engage in the process of educating ourselves in terms of like seeing different points of view, different perspectives, and expanding our imagination and our capacity to imagine new things, right? I think it's very important. Okay, I'm going to stop this video now, and I'm going to try to make like short videos on very specific or more specific way, how do I say this? Just be more specific with certain like aspects of studying, maybe the 0-point field, energy in space, and we could use the words like gravity waves, tachyon waves, virtual particle flux fields, dark energy, dark matter, cosmic energy, 0-point energy. I don't know if I already said tachyon waves, but all these words, right? All these ideas, and by educating ourselves in these extended ways, not just what we're learning in school necessarily, or what we're learning in the news, what we're learning on television, or what we're learning in science fiction, but also going beyond that. Because what's beyond science fiction? What is always beyond science fiction? Reality, right? Truth is stranger than fiction. You know, science fiction at best can try to replicate reality, at best. That's just one way of thinking about it. It's an interesting idea, right? Okay, everyone, see you in the next video. Bye.